What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? No, what are you doing? I just want to know why you're touching me. I'm taking under arrest. For what? For what? I understand. I'm not racist. I am. What for? Why are you doing? I didn't do nothing. I didn't do nothing. No, I didn't. I'm not. Hey. My hands are on my back. You have to tell me why. Okay. Relax. Why? I didn't touch. Give me a fucking. Get the fucking off me. Let go of my gun. Get off me.
Today's video takes us to Portland, Oregon. Now, most breakdowns, we usually define what is lawful and what is not, but we're here to dig a little deeper than that in order to invoke thought and create a conversation. I'm Sean Tyree. Welcome to Vest Life.
Hi, this is Officer Randall with the Portland Police Bureau calling on a recorded line. Is this Dave?
Yes.
Hey, Dave, what was going on with this stick guy up at Oregon Park?
Yeah, he was just like brandishing this like big red stick or pole. Started walking towards me and my kids and was like, "What are you looking at?" You know, just being a kind of dipshit. I mean, I'm with my 4 and 2-year-old.
Yeah, did I just...
All right, just to point out a little bit. So for most people, I want to say for the law enforcement officer that was in this video, did a really good job. For those that in law enforcement, I would say take note, especially because the use of the Axon, actually recording the victim, as they call it, the RP, the reporting person. So if you don't get a chance to meet the RP, he did a really good job of actually activating his body cam to get the information pretty much to establish PC, meaning that probable cause, and if he wanted them to be a victim of a crime. So without him being a victim, technically you have no reason, or they have no lawful reason to even approach the person. Maybe out of curiosity and what they call it, social contact. But with him actually calling and speaking with the victim and getting it recorded, where if you can't get it written down or get a written statement, did a really good job.
100%. Okay, did he... So he just said, "What are you looking at?" And he was holding the stick?
Walking towards us and trying to, instigate something, and I just kind of hurried the kids along.
Okay, can you describe his body language?
I mean, just like, he didn't like lunge at me. He wasn't close enough or anything, but just walking in our direction, staring at us.
Okay, and how did that make you feel?
Not safe. I mean, especially with my little kids. If it were just me, I probably would have told them off. But,
Yeah.
He saw me. I was trying to wrangle my dog and my little guys. So
Dude,
it's like,
yeah.
What the fuck, man? Yeah.
100%. All right, I'm going to go back and chat with him. Do you want to press charges for menacing?
So as you see, as I reiterated before, yes, do you want to press charges for menacing? So you have a little bit more to stand on, so that way it will hold up in the court of law for the reasoning to make contact and or end up arresting the suspect.
There was a red Mini on the corner of Irving and 31st with the windows smashed, and I don't know if this guy was smashing windows with that pole or what.
On Irving and 33rd?
Irving and 31st.
31st, okay.
Yeah, halfway between my house and the park.
Okay, I'm going to go check that out too.
Okay, I really appreciate you
It's
guys
a
looking into this.
red Mini Cooper?
Yeah.
Okay. 731 info.
So what you just heard was him establishing more possibly probable cause. So he started off with asking if he wanted to press charges for menacing and or threats, depending on the state. So then he just also established possible probable cause, because no one actually saw the suspect break the windows, but you never know. Someone else can come, another witness can come by and say, yes, I saw this person breaking windows with the metal pipe that the first victim said that he had. And then that way, that just established more probable cause and reason to detain the person. So I want to give the officer also a kudos on that portion of it, is the fact that he realized, hey, this guy may be dangerous. He was in the park threatening kids or threatening the victim with their children. And who knows, it may escalate further from there where someone actually might end up getting injured. So, hey, we need to at least make contact or possibly get the guy removed from the area. All right, so we're going to fast forward a little bit to the contact portion of it. So now that to backtrack, now that we know, he spoke with the victim. Good job with the body cam. Most agencies use Axon as the worldwide for body cam. Now, I would say, like, I remember 10 years ago, it was one of those things where body cam was a little bit iffy. Maybe 10, 12 years ago now. Body cam was a little bit iffy. People felt a certain way about body cams. But as of today, I mean, it's saved from lawsuits. It protects not only the citizens, but also the officers involved, because now you can visually see pretty much what they're doing. And in the grand scheme of things, it's actually helped holding officers accountable just as well as it holding citizens accountable. All right. So we're going to forward a little bit further, where they're going to end up trying to make contact with the suspect. Let's watch and see what happens.
I saw a blanket by the bathroom. So if we have a game plan, if he has the pole, one of us. I saw a blanket by the bathroom. So if we have a game plan, if he has the pole, one of us. Chase him? With a pole? Okay.
So just to briefly stop this. So if you notice, the one female officer obviously was informed about the suspect having a pole or some type of blunt object. And this is a good time for law enforcement as officers, if you're going to a scene, it's good to speak with your partner in order to establish a game plan. You know, oftentimes people kind of go in without a plan, without letting their partner know what they have or how they would handle a situation. And sometimes you're really in tune with your partner, and you can just work things out just like on a whim, just like that, just because you're familiar with working with each other. All right. But even so, even with having such familiarity, it's always good to have a game plan, because, you know, if A doesn't work, then go to B. If B doesn't work, then go to C. So it's always good to pre-plan. I do recommend that for a lot of agencies or a lot of officers. If you're going to any type of situation, it's good to kind of speak it out, just so that way everybody's on the same page. So good on that with trying to establish a good game plan with each other. All right, let's continue.
Oh, sorry. I gotta pee, man. What? I gotta pee, man. Dude, how much longer are you gonna be? I gotta pee. I'm taking a shit. I know, man. How much longer are you gonna be?
Good ploy by the officer there. All right. If you notice, he didn't knock. He knocked, but he didn't necessarily announce that, hey, Portland PD, Portland officer, hey, come out. It was kind of a little bit to kind of keep it surprised, just because you don't know what the person have inside the washroom. So this is a good way to kind of like keep yourself covered, right? Because it's you have that fear of the unknown, right? So if you knock on the door and you announce like, hey, police, you don't know what this person has. They can have a not just a blunt object, they can possibly have a firearm. So you kind of lose that element of surprise, right? So with him knocking, it kind of seeming like nonchalant, almost like as if he was a person in the park. You know, hey, I got to pee. Hey, I got to pee. Hey, you know, you're taking up the time. It kind of throws the person that's inside off guard. You know, yeah, he seems irritated, but I think he would be more irritated knowing if they were actually police outside. So it's kind of keeping that element of surprise. So that was really smart.
Another bathroom.
It's locked, dude.
There's something in it?
The other one's locked.
What do you mean locked?
It's locked.
Well, I don't know. I'm gonna give you like 5 minutes. I'm probably taking a shit. I haven't shit for like 3 days. I'm probably trying to cut it short. I appreciate it. Sorry about this problem.
Well, I mean, you're just taking up the only bathroom is all.
I understand. I've been in here for like 5 minutes.
So at this time, they probably do a lot more standing around. Well, we'll fast forward till the point where he actually steps out of the restroom.
Yeah, it's a $1 million song, but I'm taking a shit.
Oh yeah, 60.
What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? No, what are you doing? I just want to know why you're touching me. I'm taking a arrest. For what? For what? I understand. I'm not racist. I am. What for? Why are you doing? I didn't do nothing. What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? No, what are you doing? I just want to know why you're touching me. I'm taking a arrest. For what? For what? I understand. I'm not racist.
So as you can see, as soon as he stepped out, he was completely caught off guard, completely caught by surprise. And then the officer immediately grabbed hold. Both officers actually immediately grabbed a portion or a limb that you can say, right? Meaning a left arm and a right arm, trying to have positive control, what you would say as positive control. And immediately said, hey, you're going to be arrested, force will be used against you. All the things letting the person know, hey, you're actually being detained right now or being placed in the handcuffs. So in the best interest, so force won't be used, just comply. Sometimes people comply, sometimes they don't. As you can see, this person immediately was like, not going to say trying, but was seeming confused. But the officer was doing a good job of verbalizing why he was being placed under arrest. But it continues to escalate.
I am. What for? Why are you doing? I didn't do nothing. I didn't do nothing. So I did. I'm not. Hey. You have to tell me why. Okay. Relax. Why? I didn't. Give me a fucking.
Now this is where we say good tactics. Right thought, but better tactics could be utilized. So we're going to play this back just a little bit. So I just want to see this. This is just really a good benefit. This is beneficial for all of us. Us as the viewers and those in law enforcement, and just to get a better idea. Okay. So as we play this back, I just want to say right here is good positive control as it starts out. Now what we have here is what you would call aggressive. All right, where the person they're complying verbally, but physically they're not really, because they're really holding a lot of tension in their limbs or their arms or their legs, so they're not letting it easily accessible to be placed in the handcuffs. And this is where you would say that the person is actually resisting. So they're still resisting. A lot of people get confused. Well, the person wasn't resisting. Well, any muscular tension, aggressive, is technically resisting. All right. So when we have the officer right here, as you can see, put the laptop down. If you didn't hear the metal pipe or something hard actually fell to the ground, you heard it rattling. It was like ping, ping, ping. You can hear it on the ground. Right. If you can't, let's play that back.
Tell me why.
He comes out.
Why are you arrested? For what? For what? I understand. I'm not racist. I am. What are you doing? I didn't do nothing. What are you doing?
Let's play that back. So you can hear. Actually, you can actually see it. As soon as the person comes out, right there. If you can see my marker, that red pipe. So with that red pipe, indeed, this is the suspect or the person in question that committed the crime of threat for the victim that he spoke to earlier, and possibly the vehicles that were damaged with their windows being broken out. So obviously the first threat, grabbing a hold.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
Immediately it drops.
No, what are you doing? I just want to know why you're touching me. I'm taking a arrest. For what?
And now we said
I understand. I'm not racist. I am. What for? Why are you doing? I didn't do nothing. I didn't do nothing.
Good job getting the laptop and the other blunt objects out of the way.
I'm not.
Right here, some muscular tension. So I would say this is where you don't necessarily need to hesitate. Now, this is where good tactics do come in. Most agencies, I would suggest, or if a lot of agencies, I would actually highly suggest, if you can already tell that the tension is not going to be there and they're immediately resisting, don't hesitate. Take the person down to the ground. That's by either one officer going high and other officer going low, pretty much wrapping your arms around their lower limbs or extremities to kind of keep that movement. Almost like if you remember, so like, if you were a kid, right, and you had a person stand behind you, almost like in a chair, or sit behind you or come behind you, put this chair position where you're all on fours and the other person pushes you over, and you lose that balance because your legs go with you. So it's essentially what you're doing right here. So you have a person, especially if they're grabbing up top, one person goes low and you're immediately going to the ground, just because you can already tell this is going to escalate. He's not de-escalating. He's highly agitated, so he's going to escalate the situation.
You have to tell me why. Okay, relax. Why? I need to give me a fucking. Give me a fucking office. Let go of my gun. Get off me. Stop touching me. I'm not on your gun. You're touching my gun.
Now you can see the person right there. He ended up breaking free from the other officer that was with him. That was, as you saw, because you're watching it from her body cam, ends up breaking free, and now they're in a tussle. Right. The first thing he immediately goes to is grabbing onto something. Anybody that, if you're in a fight or a skirmish, right, they're going to try to grab something because it's just the easiest thing to do. Grab hold of a duty belt or a vest or anything that's that can be easily manipulated in a sense, just because you have such bulky items that you're wearing, that officers are wearing, right? So easily something to grab onto.
Stop touching me. I'm not on your gun. You're touching me.
So if you can see, so he's still somewhat trying to pull away, even though he grabbed the arm. Good deal on the officer by announcing that, verbalizing that. If you don't verbalize it, then it's not really alerting anyone. You have to alert the public. You are actually verbalizing it for your body camera. It should be, at least you should be, right? Just good overall tactics on that by announcing it. All right. Because it plays a part in if it becomes justifiable or not, if actions lead to something further. So we'll continue on. But you can see the suspect is now trying to pull away. So technically he's still trying to get away. You have to arrest a person, right? So now this is just pretty much a fight.
Hey, stop touching me. Why are you touching me? I'm asking.
So right here, if you notice, this is a perfect timing for the officer, which you're pretty much their cover, for the officer to come just dive in. This is where you would dive into the person's legs. If you can see that right there, just perfect opening. You want to grab hold of the waist, a good sweep, because he's already pulling with the jacket. So if this officer came in, grab the lower waist, and then with the other officer, the male officer, they're yanking towards his direction, it would end up pretty much forcing this person down to the ground. And that would kind of alleviate a lot of the fight, especially when you can control the upper and lower limbs of a person and just let them tire themselves out, even if you need to just pretty much just sit on them, right? Or lay on them, I should say. So right here, this is a perfect time to dive in right to her legs, because one, both the arms are already trapped in the jacket. He's already covered, so he's not really have good visual, meaning the suspect. So this is a perfect time to kind of dive in if with that opening, all right? Okay. So if you see that, let's just go back real quick. So right here, all right, as you dive in, struggling, right? Right there again, it's easily set up. Now, with you being an officer, you're too focused on the limbs. I think that's where this other officer right here, the female officer right there, too focused on the limbs, the upper body, rather than going right here. He already has his pants between his legs. So, his movement is already affected. I mean, he's not going to be able to run away. He's not going to be able to do wide strides with your pants below your on your ankles right there. So this is the perfect time. Once again, going for the hips right there, controlling the hips, and then forcing the person down to the ground. It kind of takes the bite or the fight out of someone. Now they're both on the ground. They're both on the ground. Make sure there's no butts. All right. YouTube purposes. Now, right here, unfortunately, the officer ended up on his back. Nobody wants to be on their back. I would say this. Okay, right here. If you're the officer, the cover officer, I understand that you're worried about a certain amount of force, and this may be because they're in Portland. You might have to worry about the certain amount of force you use. But right now, this is essentially a fight for your life. There's no if and or buts about it. This is a fight for your life at this point, right? Because he's on top of the officer. You're not sure where it's going to go. So this is a fight for your life. And if you're going to throw some punches, you're going to actually throw some punches. No offense to the backing officer here, but at this moment, those slaps on the back, not going to cover it. You're going to have to actually throw some hard punches or actually throw some knee strikes. It's a good time right there. We're going to back that up right real quick. Right here is a good time to throw some good knee strikes to the ribs to help your officer, right? You got to get him off the top of him. All right. You don't know if he's biting him, the ear, the face, the neck. You just don't know from here. So this is a good time. The strikes on the back that you saw, no. This time to really throw some knees. Okay? Throw something that's going to cause a little bit more pain. Still verbalizing off on the back. So I will say this. Now, for those that train, if you do some form of groundwork, either if it's wrestling back in your high school days or you currently wrestle now for fun, if you do judo, if you're a judoka, if you do jiu-jitsu, Brazilian jiu-jitsu or BJJ, this is a good time for officers to actually, if you notice that, this has been a good time for him to roll because he had his hands right in a good position, actually. Right there, we're in a good position to kind of roll him in the opposite direction. But that's just coming from a person that actually trains, and then just giving just advice, right? But even so, this is a good time to throw some good strike as a backing officer. He's kind of keeping him in a good position. This other officer needs to actually throw something that's going to like really daze the person, especially because it's warranted.
Stop! You're gonna get changed. I'm not doing it. I'm not. Stop! You're gonna get changed. I'm not doing nothing. I'm not doing nothing, man.
Right there, good time, right? It was a good distraction. Right here, if the officer could have this is where we say a little hipping out or shrimping out. I'm not going to give too much details on that, but just because if I go into I would say jiu-jitsu lingo, some people may not understand, but those that do practice or roll, you understand what I'm talking about. But as you saw, the officer tried to use the taser, just a little bit more on the taser. If you've seen that, the taser that she used looks like a Taser 7. Now, I know most agencies are going from the Taser 7. They're kind of becoming obsolete, and they're transferring to the Taser 10. But the Taser 10, just brief information on that. So the Taser 10, it has 10 probes rather than the 4 prongs that you see with the Taser 7. And they fire individually. All right. So the best reason for that is the fact that you can go one by one for a Taser 10. So technically, this could have been a contact where you take the taser and you put it directly up to the person's skin, fire it one way, and then go to another location because you have to have that spread to create a complete lock. The Taser 7, if you fire it, she was too close, and that's because you have close quarter, and then you have the far, which is 21 feet, right? So she fired it once. And after that, obviously it didn't work. Some of the best tools is just going hands-on, all right, just to be honest, especially if you're in a close fight. But the officer did try to use the tool. It was ineffective, right? And then after this, sometimes people get confused on what to do once a tool that they probably would rely on is ineffective. So you have to have that plan B. Well, that's what we say, that pre-planning, right? So it's ineffective. What do you do? The fight is still continues. You can't stop, right?
Oh my God! Let go, let go!
Now, as you saw it, this situation.
Oh my God!
play that back for you, okay? Right there, perfect position. He is intentionally going for this officer's firearm. Now, in most states, all right, but once again, this is Portland, Oregon, and this is right now deemed a lethal. It can often require a lethal reaction from an officer, meaning that you have justification for lethal force because now you're intentionally grabbing the person's gun, meaning that this suspect probably intentionally has deadly harm onto the person. So, lawful wise, for justification in order to use your firearm for deadly force, this will be those type of situations. But once again, it depends on the state, right? And ultimately, honestly, it depends on the person's resolve because it takes a lot of resolve to end someone's life. Um, Not speaking from experience, but I'm just saying it takes a lot of resolve to end someone's life. But in terms of your own life and or backing your officers or the person you work with, depends on who you are.
Let go of my gun! Let
Good
go
job
of my gun!
verbalizing it.
Stop! Stop touching me! Stop! Go of my gun!
So I will say this, all right? He's still continuing. You, as the backup officer, as you saw there, there's no time for pulling, all right? Either you're throwing a strike to the face, I would recommend that, something to kind of get this person off him. You have to be that distraction, all right? Because the pity patters, no way other way to put it. The pity patters onto the person's back, the tugging does nothing because it's not going to prevent the person from getting the other officer's gun off their belt.
Stop it! Go for another strike! You're hurting me! Dude, let go of my fucking gun! Oh my god, stop! Stop! Let go of my gun!
Still, good job verbalizing it. Forcing lost the
Let
body
go of
cam
it!
there.
Stop! Stop it! Let go! Let go! Let go!
We'll fast forward here just so you can get that.
Stop it! Dude, let go! My gun! Stop it! Stop!
Hold him down. Just hold him down.
They fight and struggle for, I would say, probably 2.5 more minutes, and then backup arrives, right? So naturally, when you hear officers getting over the radio and they're saying, especially from experience, hey, let go of my gun, or you're in a fight or something like that, I would say damn near the entire agency is probably heading in your direction, all right? Because protection is the overall thing. You want everybody to get home safely. So we're going to fast forward, or you're going to end up into the clip where other officers arrive.
You hurt me! You fucking tackled me! I don't know who you guys are! You didn't fucking tell me what you're doing! You fucking hurt me! You tackled me! And I have a fucking injury! You fucking cut me out of the back! I didn't do nothing! That fucking just took a shit! Stop
Yeah, good job holding arms.
me!
We're just going right there, keeping them in place.
I am.
I still recommend officers going directly, at least one officer is controlling the guy's hips, bringing up and getting up. See right there, the back. You can see right there, right here, you see that right there? That's actually where the prong, where the taser struck. But because the spread was so close, it didn't cause a positive effect, what you would call neuromuscular effect, all right? Tension for it. So that's just through just issue with Taser 7, they end up changing to Taser 10s for that very reason. All right. So because it'll be with the Taser 10, you can actually place the probe to where you want to go, and it's not an automatic spread. If you have to pull some type of funding, please get that funding and get your officers equipped with the correct equipment. All right.
I got him! I am!
Right there.
I am!
Put on that officer, controlling the limbs right there at the rear.
I am good, I got you!
Keep
Can you
it
fucking tackle me out of the fucking place?
hitting the person with the
It
hand.
fucking scares the fuck out of me. I was taking a shit.
So that was a good breakdown. I would hope, just out of, like I said, out of experience here. Now, usually most officers, if you don't understand that, it takes something like this to kind of forces you to train, right? Where you get your butt whooped, you get into a situation, I need more training. You can get that through your agency, or some agencies now that actually have in-house BJJ that you can train with, either through your fellow other officers, or they hire an outside agency to come in and to train their departments, or just training outside, right? Training outside your agency. It like, once again, it takes a situation like this to force you to train outside your agency, because you don't want to lose. Remember, this is your life, right? It's life or death in certain instances, right? So, but I will say this: the backing officer that did something, there's a little bit more to it. Okay, so there's no easy way to put it. So right now, there's a trust. There's going to have to be a trust, has to be regained, right? So not only will the officer realize, hey, I need more training, but the backing officer also may say, hey, I need more training, right? Especially if they end up, hopefully they're reviewing their own body cam video of this situation, especially because it's already on social media. So hopefully they're reviewing it in their own agency of like, hey, look what I did. I can do better at this situation, right? Because it could be far worse. They could have fought someone that, probably end up getting the person's gun. And like I mentioned before, it's not an easy thing. It's not an easy resolve to take someone's life. So if you don't have that type of resolve, hey, don't fault you for it, right? It means that you find other ways, right? Now, I will hope that you protect yourself, but in this instance, for taking someone like a direct shot, right? If you don't have the type of resolve, at least use blunt force, right? A knee to the strike to the face or something like that to get that person off of your officer, or off of your partner, right? But I will say this: for the officer that was there, there's a lot of work that, if she's going to remain at the agency, she's going to have to do a lot of work to regain a lot of trust of those people there, right? Because if they, meaning your other fellow officers, they can't depend on you in times like these that you just saw, it's not going to go over well. And because trust goes a long way, especially in a line of work that you're in, especially law enforcement. And then you just have to be law enforcement. Same thing for firefighting, anything, or paramedic, or anything like that, where you're dealing with someone's life. You really rely on the person you work with, and they have to be able to do the job competently, right? If you were in law enforcement, former law enforcement, from years of old or recent, if you're not in law enforcement, if you gained something from this video, let me know in the comments to create that conversation. I'm Sean Tyree, and remember, Jesus is the light of the way.